So, welcome to another video, The One Good Road here. Today I'm going to walk you through my backpacking setup that I used on a recent hiking trip where a friend of mine and we went on a trip through the GR367, which is a hiking route that goes from the town of Foix in south of France to the coast. I'll leave a link up in the corner or down in the description so you can have a look at the full documentary where my friend and I hiked this whole trip. It was about 200 kilometers of hiking, and this is the setup we used over the course of 9 days of hiking. The whole setup here is about 8 kilos or 9 kilos, and that's sometimes including food and water. That bumps it up to close to 10 kilos depending on how much food and water we're taking. This setup is a truly honest one. Like, everything laid out here is exactly what I would take if I was hiking right now. So my background, just for a little bit of an understanding, I come from a bike packing world. So everything that you see has been used for bike packing as well. And I'll leave some video links up here and down there for the setup that I used for bicycle touring. But this is purely just for hiking and for backpacking and trekking and that sort of thing. But most of my knowledge comes from that. Let's begin with the clothes that I would wear on a day of hiking. A baseball cap, this is one we got in New Zealand. I would have maybe my beanie, depending on the time of year, because the time of year we used this setup was between February and March in 2020. And that is kind of a spring winter time in the northern hemisphere. So these are all clothes I would wear for that temperature. The temperatures ranged between -1 Celsius, sometimes below freezing, and all the way up to 20 degrees. So it kind of ranges between that, and this is what I would wear. So I had the buff, that was useful. Buffs you can get at sportswear shops like Decathlon and R.E.I, depending on what continent you're at. The beanie, showed you that. This is just a cheap T-shirt from Decathlon. It's breathable, cheap. It was like €6. A lot of this stuff that you're seeing is pretty cheap. It's a mixture between secondhand items. I'll get into the shoes. Those are actually secondhand. And it's a mix between budget stuff, budget gear, like Decathlon wear, and the cheapest stuff that you can get at R.E.I, which is another sporting wear place. So, T-shirt. Then these are actually hiking pants. I really love having a pair of hiking trousers, you can also say in the UK, depending on where you're from. I'm calling them pants for now, just for simplicity. But these are long pants, like that. And you can unzip here, which is really, really nice. And then you can have shorts as well. So they unzip into shorts, and those are cheap from Decathlon. They're like, what are they, 40 euros or 35 pounds roughly. You can't really get the exact model that I'm looking at in America yet, unless you go to the Bay Area in San Francisco. They've recently opened up a Decathlon store, but you can get those things at R.E.I as well. This is a pretty lightweight jacket that I use. This is like a nice it's a plasticky synthetic version of like a nice wool one, but it's lightweight, it's good, and it's from Decathlon as well, hence the brand. And I usually carry 2 inner jackets like these, or just cheap thin ones like this, because I like to have one. In fact, my whole clothes setup is designed so that I had one set of clothes, which is what I would wear during the day, and then another set of clothes that I would wear at night. The shoes are called Hitec, and I actually bought them in a small place in Oregon called Ashland, and it was a secondhand store, and these are amazing. I bought them for like $11 on a student discount, and apart from the tread being quite worn, these are really good. They're just a nice pair of hiking boots. I sprayed these shoes with water-resistant spray so that they're water-resistant. They're not waterproof, but I can walk through a puddle with them or a stream, and they are pretty good. I find them very comfortable. I like having high tops. personally. I've tried the trainers a little bit. I know they're more lightweight, but these are pretty lightweight. Both of these is one kilo for the pair, which is not bad, 500 grams for each shoe. So that's pretty good personally. And I like having high tops and you don't get all the gravel in your shoes and stuff like that. The poles are cheap, trekking poles. They're just from Decathlon. These are the cheapest ones they make. These are €5 for one. I bet you they probably start selling these in America now as well as Europe, so that's pretty cool. Plus China and all these other places where you can get these things. This is a rain jacket here during the day. It's just a cheap one. You can get these at like Decathlon, obviously, or any sporting wear place. This was probably, I'm gonna guess, like €30 for a rain jacket. Let's move on to the clothes that I would wear if it got too cold, or if I wanted to wear another pair of socks or change my socks. I wanted to wear a sleeping setup. Anyway, so we've got the gloves. They're just ski gloves, ski socks. These are merino wool short versions of the ski socks, just regular socks, but they're merino wool. These are also merino wool as well. The merino wool just breathes better, and it's better than this synthetic stuff. The synthetic stuff is just because it's cheap. These are all boxer briefs or pants or whatever you want to call them. I have 3 for some reason. I really try and keep my hygiene up. I personally liked having enough stuff to change into, but if I hiked again, I'd probably just carry 2 pairs of boxer briefs and only 2 pairs of socks, something like that. So it's all kind of a learning experience. I then also had an underlaying long sleeve T-shirt thing. It's good. I think it's merino wool again. It was given to me as a gift. This is secondhand actually, and this is secondhand as well. So we got a long sleeve there. I've got leggings. Leggings are really cheap. These are not even like thermal ones. They're just like yoga pants. Also secondhand. But you can get these cheap at Decathlon. These are just yoga pants. They're pretty good. They just keep me warm at night and in the early mornings of the day. Couple of t-shirts. Those are just also from like the sports t-shirts, so they're breathable. I prefer having that. This was an amazing buy. This is a down jacket that I bought in America. This is secondhand. So I bought this jacket for $40 secondhand, which was amazing. It's down, super warm. I don't wear it while I'm sweating a lot. I only wear it when it's really cold. I try to make sure that I don't wear it where I'm sweating a lot. Because you don't want to really wash these in the washing machine. You want to wash them by hand if you can. So yeah, that's what my clothes section was. I know it's quite a bit actually, and I could easily shrink that down later on. So what I carried for utilities, I guess you could say, is a mixture of, these are some gels. This is kind of like my first aid kit, but it's not really a first aid kit. There's a plaster in there. There are some, there's a Tiger Balm gel, there's Neosporin, there's a bio organic deodorant. There is a toothpaste in there. There is hand sanitizer, and I think this is like a little tissue, little amount of tissues. And I'm kind of losing my words today. I don't know what it is. So inside here is a water filter. This is a Sawyer water filter. I've seen tons of backpackers use this. It's amazing. Really like it. Apparently it has I think it's a lifetime warranty, and it can filter up to 100,000 gallons, which is ridiculous. So yeah, that's what I use, a Sawyer Squeeze. It has the water, so you fill this with the dirty water, and you squeeze and it gives you that clean water. So we used that for when we came across rivers. This is just a standard knife, a kitchen knife. This is a really cool little piece of kit that is a can opener. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. You can probably get them in R.E.I. and maybe Decathlon as well. They're super small, super convenient, super lightweight, and you just sort of, you grab your can and you open it with the sharp end there. It's really amazing. This is a bamboo toothbrush, super lightweight, and I love how it's bamboo, if I can say it right. And this is just a cheap wooden fork slash spork. It's got like, you know, you can get these at like, I don't know, some sort of cafe. Inside here is a bar of soap, like the Dove ones that you can get at the stores. Pair of sunglasses, cheap sunglasses, Chinese, and from Australia, funnily enough. This is the towel. This is like a microfiber one. You can get these at any sporting wear shop as well. They cost 10 euros. I'll try and write a list of every item and try and tally up the price, because this is all low budget, and I'm a low budget kind of guy. I try and keep the quality high, but the budget has to be pretty low. This is the backpack. We're going to move on to the backpack now. And the backpack is from Decathlon as well. Here is Mr. Shu. Had him on a bikepacking adventure, and he's on here now. This backpack is a 35-liter one from Decathlon. It's the NH500. I think it weighs 900 grams, I think. I've also removed the logos because I don't like them personally. This model also comes with a rain cover that covers the whole bag very, very nicely. And just putting it in there for now. I'll show you the bag all fully loaded at the end of the video. So that's the backpack, and it's padded on the back here. It has a pretty basic waist strap around it, or hip belt, and it's good. Works. It's cheap. This thing was like 35 bucks, or 35 euros, should I say. And you can get them in any Decathlon store. They are like the most basic, well-known thing that Decathlon sell. 35 liters, 900 grams. I mean, it's really brilliant for the price. Got a couple of these bags. These are just like dry bags to keep clothes, dirty clothes, or clothes in general. Sometimes I put the tent in here. It depends on what I want to put in here, but I use those for packing various things and separating various items and stuff like that. This is a Gorilla Pod, really cheap, 10 bucks from Walmart. I like it, it works. It's very cheap. It's not like the best thing, I have to admit. It would be nice to have a new one. This is the camera that I used to film and document the entire hiking trip of the Cathar Trail. And this is the Lumix GR500, I believe, or 850. It's good. It does do 4K, but only for 5 minutes. It's not. It's good for the price. I think you can get these for like 300 euros now. They're coming down in price. It does have a nice flippy screen. I can hear the autofocus on the lens moving while the microphones are on, which is kind of annoying. But it does work. It's lightweight, straps around, does the job. Everything in this video is kind of like me just saying everything does the job, I have to admit. And I've heard that in my previous videos before. This is a battery bank, 10,000 milliamps. You can get one of these off. I mean, they're coming down in price and getting lighter and lighter. This one's heavy. This is 400, 500 grams. And you can now get them for like 20 pounds, 20 euros. I was thinking to exchange this for a newer model because this is quite heavy. And you can get them at like 180 grams now. But that's the battery bank we use. We got the micro USB, the USB-C cable, which is, by the way, from this company. I don't know, CygenNet, something like that. It's good because the cable has this metal thing on the end here, and it keeps it lasting a really long time. Cables can break down so fast while you're traveling. Highly recommend that. This is the smartphone I use for all of my bikepacking and hiking stuff and things like this. It is the Samsung S8. It's got a decent battery. It's 3,000 milliamps. I think it's got a 12 megapixel camera. Beautiful screen. I really love the screen. I I love this foam for the price. You can get these for like 200 euros secondhand, and they are just amazing. I think for the price point, it's absolutely fantastic. And I use this for all of my hiking and bikepacking adventures. It's a really good foam for the price. Anyway, I got a light. This is a bike light, but it's super bright at like, I can't remember actually. Is it 300 lumens or 400 lumens? 460 lums. It's good. I really recommend this brand, I guess, but it is a bike light. Why do I have this? Because I don't want to buy a headlamp. And this is just a cheap European plug. Food-wise, we carried all of our food in just a cheap shopping bag that we would get from the store. This is a nice biodegradable one that was there. And I'm just demonstrating, this is just food I had lying around the house, but this is what I would take if I was on the trail. A loaf of bread, if we can get that, because bread is easy to come by. Bread is so easy to come by in Europe. I carry some prunes. Fiber is very, very good when you're hiking. I really, really need that. Can of whatever. Can of beans, can of green beans, can of whatever. Cans of food is absolutely amazing. Peanut butter is hard to find in France, funnily enough, but it's easy to find in America. And that's what I would use for food-wise, and we put that with the bread. Dark chocolate, absolutely love it. It is my go-to thing. I do not like having like Snickers or anything like that, and that is super cheap food, and it's decent. You can get all of that organic, and that is a decent diet that works for me. And that comes in at probably about 2 kilos because we have 1 liter of water and about 1 kilo of food each. That's what we carried. This is the sleeping bag I use. It is called the R.E.I. Flash. It's a down sleeping bag. It was a really good price. It was about $100, I believe, or 150 bucks. Keeps me warm. It's the mummy bag thing set up. It's not a quilt or anything like that. And then I used the inliner to keep it cleaner, I guess, because I didn't want it to get on this, because washing down sleeping bags is a pain. I prefer just having the inliner there that I used. It's a pretty lightweight one. I think it weighs like, that's actually the name of it. It's rated for, I think it's rated down to -5, I think. I've used it in personally -5 Celsius, and it's worked very, very well. It keeps me warm, but I do need that inliner sleeping bag thing to keep me comfortably warm. If I use it without that, then it's survival mode, to be honest. The sleeping mat I used was just a cheap yoga mat, and it's cut in half. As you can see, it is cut in half like that, and we just folded that up and I put it in my bag. I will not be using this for more than if I use this for a 2-week trip, my back just gets really uncomfortable with camping every night, and I think I'm gonna get another air mattress because all my air mattresses have broken down. But this is just a yoga mat. It was cheap. It's lightweight. It does work for just a few days, like a weekend trip. But if you're doing like more than like 2 weeks or something of just non-stop camping, this yoga mat is horrible for that sort of thing, personally. If you want to see some videos of the tent, you can have a look at the Cathar video, which I was already mentioning about. This is the R.E.I. tent. It's the Passenger 1, I believe. It's an old tent. I bought it back in 2016, I think. It's still working fine. The shield of the tent, the rain fly, I think it's called, it's kind of starting to break down. I need to spray it with some water-resistant spray again. But it's good. We had one rainy night and it was okay. If I'm traveling on my own, which I have done in the past, this tent is amazing for the price tag. I think it's only like 150 bucks. You can probably get it on sale for like 100 bucks, and it's really good. R.E.I. Passenger 1, do recommend it. It's a freestanding tent. I love it. It's really, really good. And it's got the poles here. The poles are kind of heavy, but the whole tent weighs about 1.5 kilos, 1.3 kilos. and that's the tent I used. So I've added some extra things into the picture, but I have just weighed everything. Now the clothes and the trekking poles that I would wear and use, and my shoes and everything else that I would wear during the day is 2 kilograms for this. The shoes weigh 1 kilo, and these are 400 grams for the pair. So just keep that in mind. I could swap to trainers, and these trainers for the pair only weigh 600 grams. And I could not use the poles. That's another way of lightening the load. Everything together in here with food and water is 10 kilos. Now that means the whole bag on its own without the food and water is 8 kilos. And I'm thinking that I can probably make that lighter, to be honest. There's still a lot of stuff that I would remove out of that backpack. And the Osprey bag here is a 60-liter bag that I also tried and have used for many, many years on many, many different trips. And personally, I don't really want the high volume, even if the weight is the same. There's too many straps and I don't use them, and I'm going to prefer using one of these bags over this one, just because it's lighter and this is heavier. But that's just personal preference, and I have 2 bags just to, well, use either one if I want. This setup here costs about 500 bucks, and it's a pretty lightweight setup. If you have any questions, I will try and help in the comments below. I will try to list as many items as I can and the weight that they are in the description below. Subscribe and check out that video of the full documentary of the hiking the Cathar Trail.